My friends had a my friends had a baby a couple months ago, and the baby's very cute, right? Adorable baby, it really is. Also, this baby has the deepest voice I've ever heard on a baby, and it is freaking me out, all right? I tickled him on his little, a little chubby cheek that you tickle on a baby, and so I tickled him, and this baby, no lie, looked right at me and was like, It's the only baby I've ever stopped playing peekaboo with, you know what I mean? Like, because I was like, peekaboo, like, I see you. You know what? I don't want to play anymore. I need to keep my eye on you. I don't trust you like that. I don't like that. The baby's also, like, long. Like, it's a long-grown baby. It's freaky. It's like, no, like, it came out fully cooked. Like, this is not a baby. This is like a geriatric toddler. Like, no baby should have a leg swinging out the crib. You know what I mean? Like, that's a big baby.
Hey, thanks so much for watching. Please like and subscribe, hit the notification bell, and tell a friend. That would be a huge help if you tell people about it. Sharing is great. There's like a share button, but if you tell people, they might click on it.
Charleston, please make some noise for Josh Johnson!
I was talking to one of my friends, and he said that he knew, the first time he knew his neighborhood was broke was when the bank closed. It's a pretty good indicator. The bank holds that branch's money, and that branch is falling off. And said he went to the bank. And, he basically just straight up asked the teller, he's like, hey, do you know why this branch is closing? And she was like, are you here to make a deposit or a withdrawal? And he was like, withdrawal. And she was like, yeah, that's why. That's it in a nutshell. That's exactly what's happening. You do enough of that, and then there is no bank. We're just kind of a building with a little bit of parking. I don't know. I look back at the ups and downs I've had in my life. I've been broke off and on my entire life, and there's a weird solace sometimes in being broke at the right time. Everyone thinks that the security is in having means and having money, but sometimes not being a part of the circus is its own solace in a weird way. You know that it's bad when you're really shopping at the dollar store. There are things anybody could use at the dollar store. You need a fly swatter, you might as well run up in the dollar store. You know what I mean? You need a dustpan, might as well run up in the dollar store. But if you're really shopping at the dollar store, things are not great. I would go in the dollar store for stuff you shouldn't even be buying from the dollar store. They sell it, but even the cashier look at you like, you sure? I'm talking about you have to get your meat at the dollar store. I knew I was in a bad situation when I went to a dollar store and was looking at that meat in the fridge, and I was like, Because the meat at the dollar store, they don't go into specifics. You go to Kroger, Walmart, you go to Target, you go to any of these places, and you'll see the brand of the meat, and then you'll see, all of the little no preservatives ever, completely organic, all the stuff. When you go to the dollar store and you buy your meat, it just says the price and it says meat. And you're like, maybe if I don't ask any questions, it can be whatever I think it is. Because then, I also got a lot of stuff at the dollar store, even as a kid, that I look back and I'm like, that probably wasn't the best. Like a good example, if you know, when you shop at a dollar store, especially if you ever got toys at the dollar store, that dollar store toys are in a very specific slightly copyright infringed arena of toy. You know, like you would have a G.I. Joe, but it doesn't say G.I. Joe. It just says soldier. And you buy the soldier, and it even got the setup like a G.I. Joe, like it stands like a G.I. Joe, but the legs a little too short. So some very long arms. I couldn't tell if the arms were long or the legs were short. And it doesn't have like grip action. It says that on the front, grip action. It just has a hole. They didn't make a hand. They made a hole stub. And then this hole stub is what you go ahead and put the little toy gun through. But then they didn't really measure out the gun versus the hand. And so the gun is not in proportion at all. So it looked like this would blow his arm off if he tried to shoot it. But you bring it home and you're playing with it. And you're like, yeah, soldier, get him. And he's like, I'm gonna get him. Oh, I'm gonna get him. They getting it right now. Trust me. Trust me. Nah, they getting it. Look. Point me over here. Point me over here. No, it was terrible. It was very bad. It was horrible. You know, you would have those dollar store crayons. That's another one. It's a very specific type of drawing as a kid, because those dollar store crayons, they melt in your hand. So you got to be quick with it. You got some imagination. It needs to come out now. You got to put those crayons in the fridge. I remember being around some of these crayon kids being like, your crayon's stale as hell. Man, y'all don't even freshen up your crayons. That's crazy. That's why your pictures stink. You know what I mean? My pictures smell like leftovers. I remember one of my favorite toys from the dollar store was like a Stretch Armstrong, right? But it was Stretch Armstrong. It would only stretch for like 3 days. Like you only got 3 good days. After that, it would get hard. And if you tried to stretch it after it got hard, it would cut your finger open. I don't know what it was made of, but it was the most malleable, unmalleable thing. It was Play-Doh and adamantium together. No, it was crazy. And that's the thing too, is when you're growing up in this situation, for anyone who knows what I'm talking about from experience, then you also know that it's very hard to know that you're broke, especially if you're a kid. It's hard to know if you are surrounded by love. My family loved me so much, so much. They still do. I make it sound like that. Make it sound like there was a falling out. They still love me. But no, I was surrounded by love. I had my grandparents, and my mom, and my dad's love. I had my aunt, and my uncle's love. I had my cousin's love. I had so much love around me. And when you're surrounded by that much love, you don't know that you don't have money when you have that much love until you meet somebody who has both. That is a curious experience. Like when you're like, oh, you got both parents and a pool? Okay, I think there can be upgrades to life. I see that now. To me, greed is a paradox, because you want everything. Even if you have more than enough, even if you have so much that what you have is starting to hurt you in the long run. You see it with the way that hedge funds cannibalize whole companies. It's like, okay, everybody made some short-term profit, but now this thing that people used to love doesn't exist. You know? Like you take like a Southwest. You know, Southwest, people used to love Southwest. Bags fly free. Affordable tickets. You just sit wherever. You don't have to wait for the person. Southwest used to be so fire, because then you don't have to wait for the person to get to their seat, and you don't have to get up for anybody. Do you know what it's like to just be in your seat on the plane. And everyone's almost here. There's a couple of stragglers. There's almost nobody coming down that aisle anymore. You even settle in. You're like, oh, I may not have a seat next to me. This may be the promised land. You get so comfortable, you're like, man, I might put my other leg over here. Southwest had a brilliant idea. And the bags were flying for free, which makes sense. The bags don't know where they're going. Why should I have to pay for this bag to have an experience too? You know? And then greed, and then private equity, and then hedge funds, and then, shareholder meetings, and then dividends. All the things start to creep in, and it's like, maybe we'll stop doing everything that is why everyone likes us. Maybe we'll just be like the other airlines. They make money, but then you actually look at the people who fly Southwest, and they were like, oh, y'all aren't nice enough to be like them, though. Like, your seat doesn't even go back like that. Why would I pay for everything here that I pay for over there? That's crazy. And so then you see people plummet, because they're making decisions based on money, but not money that they need, just more money that they might be able to get. And there's only there's only so much that a business can grow. I understand a startup's passion, and that passion makes sense because the company just started. But after a while, it's like, do you really need to own everything? If the answer is yes, it's like, and they don't say it to us. They say it to each other. You ever get a hold of a recording of a closed door meeting and the way they talk about their own customers? That's why greed is like a paradox to me. You're so greedy that then you end up cannibalizing your own company, your own efforts, yourself. You end up hurting yourself. American greed is another paradox, because as much as we know that the millionaires and billionaires maybe got their money in a way that's a little nasty, we also kind of want to be them a little bit. Everybody wants their piece, but we know how bad it is. There are people who I know who want to be billionaires. They aspire to be billionaires. But if you ask them to name like a good billionaire, it's a hard quiz. But they want to be the billionaire because they're like, no, I will be different. How? That to me is like a drug dealer saying, no, I'm gonna be different. Oh, how so? Oh, I'll only sell drugs to bad people. How will you know that they're bad people? Word will get around and they'll buy my drugs and I'll be like, that's a bad guy. No, it's not going to be different just because it's you. That's the trick as well. No, it's different when I do it. It's different when it's me. It's different when it's for me. It's different when it's for my family. Right? So then you hear people talk about recession. That recession is coming. Recession is looming. And to be fair, people have said that since the last recession. Every year, I'm not an economist, but every year there's somebody that's like, it's coming. Get ready, batten down the hatches. And so you're in this situation where, people are very worried, and understandably so. Because it's not really about the money. Money is mostly like the conduit. Money's mostly the placeholder. There are people who find money to be a game, and for them, the number is the important thing. How much actual money they can stack and hoard is the real thing. I want to show how rich I am is the real thing. But for almost everybody else, it's about their survival. It's about taking care of yourself. It's about taking care of the people that you love. So when they hear that there's going to be a recession, they're not really thinking like, oh, the number will go down. They're thinking about food. they're thinking about housing, they're thinking about resources, you know? And the only way forward is with other people. We've proven that this thing doesn't work. And by this thing, I'm not just talking about like one specific system. I'm not talking about like capitalism. I'm not talking about anything like that. I'm talking about we've proven that a true rat race does not work. I can't believe the world watched Squid Game and was like, yeah, I think I could win the pot. The pot is the problem. You know? And then I think the other problem is that if you are pitted against people, if you're pitted against the other 330 so million Americans, then yeah, the odds look insurmountable. But when you see how many people are actually in your situation, and you see how many millions of people are just like you, and you put yourself on the same side as them, all of a sudden, all of the weight, it gets a little bit easier. You know? There are people around the world that will never have access to the things that we have access to that make it work. And so sometimes we stress, oh, how am I going to make it work? And it's like the number one way is through community. Your future is your neighbor. There's no other way forward. And I know that can be scary. That's an idea where you have to lay down so much trust at the feet of people that you don't know. That's very scary, because I've had good neighbors and I've had bad neighbors. I've had very bad neighbors. I had a neighbor who stole my trash can. It's the trash can. You could just put your trash in there too. Stole my trash can and lived next to me like I'm not gonna notice my trash can. And he was big too, and I'm pretty sure he sold drugs, so I wasn't gonna take my trash can back. But I was like, I will put my trash in my trash can over here though. Just because you stole the trash can doesn't mean I'm gonna get another trash can. It's a trash can, and trash goes in. You could put your trash over here, but then you wanted to put it in front of your yard. Okay, fine, whatever. I'm sure you have a gun, so I won't make a big deal of it. But I've had bad neighbors, and I've also had incredibly kind, incredibly sweet neighbors. I had neighbors that made any transition period I've been having in my life easier. I remember when I moved to Chicago and I was living in my first apartment, I had a neighbor that knocked on my door. I had been living there for like 2 days, and I didn't have stuff. I'm like this broke kid who just moved to Chicago with like 2 suitcases of like clothes and a couple of other things. And so knocks on my door and it's like, hey, this older guy. And he's like, hey, I saw that you moved in. If you need anything or you have any questions about the building, just hit me up. I live right there. And I'm thinking he's like the building manager or something. So I'm like, oh yeah, what's your name? And we get to talking a little bit. And as we're talking, I realize he doesn't work for the building at all. This dude is literally just checking on me for the sake of checking on me. And he's like, if you need anything, because I saw, you were having a little trouble, I couldn't have caught up to you, but I was going to help you up and everything. And I was like, oh, thank you, man. And we didn't see each other often. And I remember the day that I moved out, because I ran into him again. I ran into him and his wife. And he was like, man, I'm sorry to see you go. Because I can tell, just we never really got to chop it up or anything, but I could tell that I like the way you move. And you didn't cause any trouble. You were just cool. And I wish I would have knocked on your door a couple more times, right? I never forgot about that guy, because even knowing that there was someone there if I was having a problem, it just made living there on my own a little bit easier. Just in the back of my head. Once again, we didn't even have that many interactions. I only knocked on his door a couple times. And the couple of times I knocked on his door, he needed help too. There was one time where we had in our building a chute for the laundry that nobody used. Nobody ever used it because it's not like it was one person. Do you ever, the chute for, this isn't Eloise. Like, it's weird that there was a chute for the laundry because it just went to the floor down there And you'd have to go down there to wash your own clothes anyway. So I guess if you wanted to save yourself the weight of the trip, you could push all the clothes down and let them get nice and nasty and then slip through the chute and then hit the ground and now it's got different stuff on it than the reason that you're washing it. So nobody used it. And nobody used it because it was nasty. And so then one day the actual building manager poured a whole bunch of like bug poison down it to try to like kill some of the bugs that had been living in there. And the bugs were like, you know what? I think we'll go everywhere else. And so then one day I came home and my apartment was just overrun with bugs and it didn't make sense because I didn't even have stuff. I had a fork, a bowl, like it was kind of like a saucer. It wasn't a plate. It was a plate that you would put a teacup on. I didn't even have dishes to be nasty enough to have all these bugs. So I'm freaking out. I'm killing a bunch of bugs and then I run over and I knock on his door. And when I open his door, he looks like me. He's like, you too? And both of us just knowing that we're both dealing with bugs was enough to make the whole thing easier. He helped me kill some of my bugs. I helped him kill some of his bugs. And we were both very upset with the building manager. I had another neighbor when I was living this like short little bit in this, I don't even know how to describe it. It was like, it was a house, but it was like, you know how there's it wasn't a duplex. Okay. The house I was living in was like perfectly split in two, right? To make two unlivable houses. Okay? So I wasn't staying there for long, but it was just two completely unlivable houses, right? And I had a neighbor that lived next to me where I moved in, and once again, this older lady, so sweet as could be, knocks on my door, and it's like, hey, I saw that you just moved in. She had baked something, like old school, like out of the movies. She had baked something. She was like, I made you a little something, some muffins. I know moving is hard. I know sometimes you don't have anything to eat right after you move. So this is for you, right? And I was like, oh, I didn't even know what to do. I was like, oh, thank you. Thank you so much. And she was like, yeah, I like to help people get their bearings. And just so you know, I just want to be the one to tell you so you don't have to find out on your own. There's a crackhead in the wall. And when you get that type of warning, it does make you look at the muffins twice. One has nothing to do with the other. But I was still like, oh. And she was like, yeah, we thought it was a bird for a long time. And then he started talking. And so if you hear anything in the middle of the night, just pound on the wall a couple times and he'll stop. I was like, okay. All right, okay. And I closed the door, and I sat in silence for the rest of the night, waiting to hear a noise that would never come. It wasn't until like months later I heard some scratching in the wall, and I was like, how does somebody just live with it? And so I knocked on her door, and she came to the door. She was like, you hear him too. And I was like, look, I know you lived here longer than me, but in case it is a bird, maybe we should call animal control. Just throwing it out there, right? And she's like, you can do what you want. I called animal control, and then they could hear the scratching too. And then they went ahead and went on the roof, and they said that they found a slight hole in the roof, and turns out it was a bird. It had been a bird the entire time, and I'm pretty sure it was a bird when she heard it, but maybe she just had the TV on. Maybe she was like, he's talking. Animal control leaves with the bird. I go over, I tell her it was a bird, animal control called the bird, and she was like, thank you so much. Seriously, thank you so much. That has been happening for like 8 months, off and on, and I was positive it was a crackhead. And I guess that's what a good neighbor does. I guess a good neighbor lets you know nobody's in your wall. Because I think fundamentally the toughest thing people are facing right now is like a true way forward where they can trust other people to help them and take care of them. And I can't tell you to just blindly put your faith in people that you don't know, even if they live next to you. But what I can tell you is that most people return energy. Most people give like for like. So if there's a community that you want around you, all you have to do is be its founder. If you are the one knocking on your neighbor's door, letting them know you're here, if they need anything, they'll probably do the same for you. And it's so simple to build community. It's so much more likely that you're gonna build community than you're gonna become a billionaire. Do you know what I mean? Like, both things are incredibly hard to do. They take a lot of hard work and everything, and one of them means everyone will hate you. Because when you're broke as well, the thing that happens, I think, the most often is that we have a real misunderstanding of each other. Rich people, the rich people that I've met in my life, no rich person I know feels rich. They feel comfortable. Now, they'll do whatever it takes to maintain their level of comfort, but they don't feel rich. They're like, no, I'm just comfortable. I'm just chilling. And you show them how much they make, and they're like, yeah, I got to maintain, I got kids, And then you show them how much the rest of the world makes, and they're like, ooh. Okay, maybe we don't tell anybody how much I make. And the same thing, when you're broke, there's a genuine misunderstanding around the decisions that people make when they're poor, around the way that people think, because there's not the possibility of thinking past tomorrow, because you're not even sure you're going to get there. Do you know what I mean? When you really don't have means, when you really don't have money, you come off wild sometimes because all your requests are strange, because you're just trying to piece things together just so you can make it to the next day. Like a good example is I used to work at a grocery store, and one time in the break room, we're eating our lunch, and this one dude opened his lunch and then just said out loud to everybody, hey, I made a hamburger at home, but oof, does anybody have a top bun? Sir, they're always sold even. How did this happen? We look at money as paper, right? At least when it's in its physical form, it's this paper thing. But it's more than paper. There's fabric weaved into it. There's linen, there's cotton. It works the same way that society works. There's fabric that weaves all of us together. And there are people who have not been able to participate in the opportunities of making money or making their well-being out of these chances in the market the way that other people have. And so when you tell them that a recession is coming, they're like, oh, a what? Okay. I was already broke. Do you know what I mean? What is a recession to somebody who was on the street the whole time? I guess the best example I can give is one time I was at a party with my friends, and I I fell in the pool. And falling in the pool at a party is one of the more embarrassing things you can do when it's not a pool party. If you fall in the pool at a party where people are just sort of standing around the pool and talking, you might as well have fallen off the roof. But I fell into the pool at the party, which is not just embarrassing, it's not just annoying because out now all my clothes are wet and everything. It's terrifying because I can't swim. Yeah, I mean, I'm not a swimmer in the way that I would like to be. And the way that I would like to be is to be able to survive. And so when it comes to swimming, I'm not only not a fan, I'm not efficient. And so I get in the water, and when you don't swim, and I don't just mean can't swim, I'm saying when you don't swim, like for fun or anything, being surrounded by water out of nowhere is very concerning. I didn't realize I had stepped into the pool until I was in the pool. So now what I feel like has happened is that I turned around and water surrounded me. And so I start doing what I think swimming is innately. I start fighting the water, right? I'm punching and I'm kicking and I'm like, get off me, water, but I'm in the water. But I'm like, get back, I don't want you over here. And that's not how water works. And so I'm sifting through the water, and it's almost like swimming, except I'm staying in place underneath it. So that is drowning. That's what drowning is. When you're swimming perfectly, but you're not going up above and you can't get your head up, you're not actually swimming, you're drowning, and it's also exhausting. You're fighting and you're punching, you're kicking, and you're moving, and you're doing a pretty good job of drowning. If you could get your head above water, this would be swimming. And if you could get your chest up, if you could do that butterfly thing, now you're a swimmer. But I am over here, no more water. Get out of my face, right? So then it takes someone pulling me out of the water for me not to actually drown. And not right after, not soon enough after, but pretty soon after, we leave the party. And not as soon as you would like if you almost drowned. You know what I mean? Like and it's tough too, because like the dude saved you as your ride. So now he's doing you two favors, you know? So then, man saves me, and my buddy pulls me out of the water, and now, we stay an extra 20 minutes because now he's got his MAC points for saving a life in front of everybody. That's what most embarrassing. The only thing more embarrassing than like showing a whole party full of people you can't swim is to be sitting there wet while the person that saved you tries to mac on somebody. Just like, yeah, I do what I can. I do what I can. Try to help out the people, and doing my best. And it's like, also, my man didn't. Look, I'm not necessarily trying to give notes on being saved, but like, my man did jump in the pool and grab me and lift me up and swim me to the shore of the edge of the pool, right? This man just stuck his arm in and kept clawing at me until he got the back of my shirt. That's barely saving. Like, when I tell you that I'm over here, stop it, water, no, I don't want any more. And then he is over here, bow, and he missed like 8 times. So he was punching me in the head while trying to save my life. And he finally hooks his hand behind my collar and pulls me up the way that a cat sort of lifts its kitten in its mouth. You know what I mean? Just sloppy. And then I'm also still fighting. I don't know what's pulling me up, so I don't know if that's more drowning. I don't know what the effects of drowning feel like. So now I'm not necessarily fighting his hand, but I am still fighting the water. And so if you were on the other side of the pool, it does look like I was drowning. He reached in, dunked me one more time just to be safe, and then pulled me up. Because I don't know that he's trying to help me. But when he finally pulls me up and I'm over here coughing up the water and everything, this man helps me get up out of the pool and then immediately sees the eyes on him and everything, sees the opportunity, and he's like, oh, yeah, you know. I do what I can. Also, I know he saved my life and everything, but also the fact that he didn't need to roll his sleeves up like that. Like that was even more just worth like, oh yeah, you know, I tried. Now you sitting here wet, just like, can you wrap it up, get the number or don't? And so then me, him, and some other friends head to his car once he's ready to leave, and his car won't start. Waited for nothing. Now, luckily, we were staying at his house, and luckily he did live close enough to the party that we could walk. It was like maybe, I don't know, like a mile and some change. It wasn't crazy. And so we start walking. As we start walking, it starts drizzling. And then it's drizzling a little bit more, drizzling a little bit harder, and then it really starts raining. And when it starts raining, all my friends did a different thing when it was raining. Like, I had one friend that did the turtle. Just walking and just trying to... And I get it, because he has some deep collarbones. He would have had 2 lakes on either side of his neck if he had just let the water hit. That would have been 2 puddles he had to carry. So I understand him trying to... Then I had another friend who was over here doing this, which genuinely pissed me off. That's one of the craziest things I've seen. You have 2 hands, one hand covering some of your head, but not even efficiently. Where's the distance management here? You'd be better putting the hand on your head. Then I had another friend who just decided to lean forward, because I guess he just doesn't want a wet front. He's just cool with it all hitting the back. And as it's raining and raining, my friend was over here doing this, turns to me, because I'm just walking. I'm not doing any of this. I'm just walking normal. And they're like, oh, Josh, you must not mind the rain. And I was like, I almost drowned 20 minutes ago. And that's what it's like when you're broke. You're almost drowning all the time. So when people try to scare you with talks of a recession, you're like, why would I? What? You're doing this. I'm already wet. And the way to ensure that you're going to be okay, the way to ensure that your family is going to be okay, is by creating chains, by linking up together with other people, with other families. Because the way forward, your future, I guarantee you, it's not in the market. There's a belief that, like, if I can just get enough ahead, maybe I'll pull some other people with me. And that sort of thinking is the reason that we as the people can be taken advantage of so easily when it comes to money. It's like, I can get you a little bit ahead. Oh, I'd like to be a little bit ahead, right? But the way forward, your future, I promise you, it's in your neighbor. I promise you, there's no one that's going to take care of you like the people that are actually next to you. And it's kind of daunting to me. It does freak me out a little bit that there are so many people, every election, every year, no matter who's president, that expect the person in office to make them rich. Don't you know this is America? Do you know what I mean? Like, that's just not how it works. It's not how it's ever works. You may like the person in office, you may not, but I guarantee you they're not going to make you rich. That's not how anything works. And don't get me wrong, I've had dreams before. I had a hard time getting to know people, and I had a hard time communicating with people. I'm an only child, and my mom wanted me to have friends so I wouldn't be crazy. And so, as a single parent with one kid, my mom, the only thing she knew how to do was go ahead and take me over to her other single parents, friends' houses where they had one kid. And she was like, maybe y'all will just play and not be crazy together. And sure enough, there was a time in my life where my parents got back together. And so we were a 2-income household. So I started to get the good toys, right? The real good toys. I'm talking WCW, NWO, wrestling toys, Sting, Goldberg, Kevin Nash. And sure enough, you know, I remember I got those toys. Those are some of my favorite toys in the world because I didn't know ankles had come out yet. I would hold up my Kevin Nash and I'd be like, bow, 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 bow. Look what he does. Bow, 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 bow. He had knees, he had ankles, he could do this. That's crazy. I was used to this only. Maybe if you were getting fancy, some of this, but I wasn't used to this. This thing right here, this is crazy. Real shoulder movement? My mind was blown. It's like, look at what this thing can do. Bow, 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 right? And so then my mom took me over to her friend's house, and her friend had a kid, and you know, I went ahead and brought over 2 of my toys. I brought my Kevin Nash and I brought my Sting because I'm trying to make a good impression. And so we're talking, they're talking, and finally we go to his room to play, and my mom leaves to go run some errands or something. And I quickly realized after my mom left that he was crazy. He was genuinely crazy because all of his toys, every single one of his toys, didn't have a face. None of his toys had faces. I don't know if he was chewing them or if he was burning them, but they were gone. And so he looked at my Sting toy and he was like, oh, we have the same one. And I was like, I don't see how that's possible. I don't see how that's possible. And then sure enough, this kid pulls out his Sting toy, and I know we have the same toy because the Sting had the jacket. The jacket you could put on, you could take off and everything. And so we're playing, and I'm trying to be a collaborative new friend, right? I'm like, what do you want to do? You want to do Legos? You want to do like wrestlers, whatever? And then we decide Legos. So I was like, do you want to build a castle? You want to build a wall? What do you want to do? So we decide to build a castle, right? And then this kid, we're halfway through the castle, maybe 100 pieces to go. And this kid grabs the castle, lifts it up, throws it against the wall. It explodes into like 190,000 pieces. And I'm like, what did you do that for? And he goes, don't talk to me. And I was like, oh man, yeah, chill, Satan, chill, okay? Back up, devil, okay? Because I had been prepared in case the situation happened, because I knew I wasn't a crazy only child, but I knew there were other crazy only children out there. So I already had my thing on me, right? I had that lance in my back pocket. I was like, don't you come near me. I will cut you open. This thing is 6 weeks old.
You've seen him all over the Daily Show. You've seen him on YouTube. I want y'all to put your hands together, put your hands together, put your hands together. Give it up for Josh Johnson.
My most recent obsession is this court case, this lawsuit against Cardi B. All right. If you're not familiar with Cardi B, Cardi B is a rapper, and she is also a national treasure. Cardi B is incredible, and this case is pretty wild. Basically, what is being alleged in this case is that Cardi B assaulted a security guard. It's alleged that Cardi B assaulted the security guard, and you hear both stories throughout the case. The security guard's story is that she was at work, securing the building. And then Cardi B walks in, and then she's like, "Oh, Cardi B." And Cardi B didn't seem to like that she was approached, that Cardi B was like, "What are you doing right now? Why are you in my face?" And that Cardi B got nasty with her very quickly. And so they were in the elevator together, and she said that she followed Cardi B out of the elevator to clear up any confusion. I don't know if it was to apologize or anything, but she admits that she did follow Cardi B into the elevator and out of the elevator. And then she said Cardi B really lost it and started cursing at her and everything, and then started swinging on her and stuff, and that she got a little nick on her cheek from Cardi B scratching her face, right? And then the receptionist and the doctor that Cardi B was there to see, because Cardi B was in the building for a doctor's appointment, that they broke up the fight, and then everybody went about their way. But because of this assault, because of this nick on her face, she is suing Cardi B for about $24 million. I'll tell you right now, for $24 million, Cardi B could cut up my whole leg, okay? If Cardi B chopped up my leg and gave it back to me in a bucket, I would be like, "You'll be hearing from my lawyer." $24 million. That's crazy. So then, Cardi B's account of things is that she was going to the doctor. At the time, she was pregnant. She didn't want anybody to know she was pregnant. She didn't tell anybody, and she didn't even tell her security guard where she was going that day, her personal security, because she was just trying to keep this whole thing private, right? And even the doctor's office had blocked out time just to make sure they didn't have other clients coming in back and forth, and Cardi B was going to be the last appointment of the day, right? So Cardi B shows up to the building, and then immediately she hears Cardi B. And so already that's not ideal, right? Like that could happen at any time. Cardi B is very famous. But then she is getting in the elevator, and then she notices the person who screamed Cardi B got in the elevator with her and has a phone in her face. And so she goes, "What are you doing? Aren't you security?" Because she had security on her. And then she's talking to her while she's in the elevator, and then she exits the elevator, and she said she can still feel this person behind her. So then she turns around, she's like, "Hey, what are you doing? Why are you recording me? You gotta get out of my face. I'm trying to go to the doctor." And then that's when the person who was recording her, the security guard, got real angry and was like, "I could do what I want. It's my phone. This is my building," which is a misunderstanding of what security is. If that really was said, oof. I've never met a security guard who thought they were clocking in to own the building for a little while. But then they got into what Cardi B says was only a verbal altercation. There was the receptionist and the doctor that came into, I guess, the hallway to break things up. But she said, "I didn't touch her, she didn't touch me," so I didn't really think of it again, because if you don't know Cardi B, you should at least know that she's used to verbal altercations. I'm sure they don't stick with her. She was on Love and Hip Hop. And so then she just sort of goes about her life, and then she gets hit with this $24 million lawsuit. This whole thing, to me, just my opinion, but this whole thing feels like when that dude tried to sue Gwyneth Paltrow for millions. remember that dude, Gwyneth Paltrow, if you weren't familiar with this, basically Gwyneth Paltrow went skiing one time, and then this other dude went skiing, and I don't know exactly how it went down, but I guess they bumped into each other at some point, and then the guy got up and he was like, wow, you're Gwyneth Paltrow. Oh, I'm ruined. No, because this is the thing. Coming after Cardi B seems like kind of easy in a lawsuit like this, just because she was on shows like Love and Hip Hop, and in Love and Hip Hop, there's a lot of this. In Love and Hip Hop, whether you're watching Atlanta, Hollywood, New York, there's a lot of almost fights. You know what I mean? Usually it is stirred up by the producers. They get everybody nice and drunk, and then they're like, hey, you won't believe what she said. And then they always believe what she said. And so, you know, Cardi B's been known to pretty much never back down. In fact, there was this old case. I don't think anything ever came to it in like a court sense, but Cardi B was doing I think it was a festival, could have been a concert, and somebody threw something on stage. You know, somebody threw like a water bottle. And this has happened a lot in like the past. I don't know. People lost their minds through COVID and everything, and now people sometimes even film themselves throwing something on stage. I don't know if it's like to get a reaction out of the performer, and every performer has a different reaction to it. There are some people who, as soon as something gets thrown, they walk off stage, show's over, and they don't even try to continue. There are some people that try to dodge it, act like it didn't happen. There are some people that try to dodge it and then try to find the person who did it and get security to kick them out and everything. Well, basically, there was a time where someone threw a water bottle at Cardi B, and I believe she dodged it, but she must have seen who did it, because she immediately threw the microphone at them. They probably thought Cardi B was gonna be some easy pickings. They were like, I'll throw my water bottle now. She's clearly unarmed. And can I just say, throwing a microphone at somebody is one of the funniest projectiles to throw. Because it's the only one where you get to hear their reaction to something being thrown at them in real time. Imagine Cardi B throw a microphone right back at them, and they're like, oh, is that a... Last thing the crowd hears before the show ends is, whoa, watch out! Even better if they turned around, they threw the water bottle, they're like, I think I got it! And so, well, they had this court case, and I don't know. Cardi B better than me. If I were me, I'd be losing my mind right now. $24 million for. That's what she's alleging. Like, the security guard is alleging $24 million. I don't even think I got $24 million worth of head. I think even if I was in a horrific accident, I'd probably only get like 10, maybe. And that's with half the head missing. $24 million just feels insane. And so, you know, they go to court, and Cardi B's got a lawyer, security guard's got a lawyer, and security guard's lawyer does seem bad at this. I don't know the law. I'm not a lawyer. I don't even know some of the stuff they're saying. When they get into like the real nitty gritty, like the weedsiness of the law, I don't know what's happening, right? All I know from all my hours of watching Law and Order is that if you're a lawyer and you're talking in court, you're talking, right? And then the other side keeps saying objection, and then the judge keeps saying sustain, you're not exactly doing well. And that's what's been happening this entire trial. The judge basically sustaining the whole thing. Like, this lawyer for the security guard keep withdrawing his own questions mid-question because he can feel a sustain coming. And like some of the questions don't have anything to do with anything. It's one thing if you're badgering the witness or you're really trying to like rile them up and get them to admit something, you try and catch them in a lie or something like that. It doesn't even feel like that's what's happening. This dude will just be asking questions that have nothing to do with anything or the case. It feels like he's just a Cardi B fan. The amount of times that Cardi B's lawyers have had to say objection, relevance is astounding. He's asking her all sorts of questions. At one point, though, he gets back on track and he asks Cardi B, you're saying that you felt threatened by my client. The security guard says, client, you saying you feel threatened by my client. I'm wondering why you feel so threatened. What was the issue? What was the issue? And then Cardi B says, I was pregnant and she's coming at me. I think she wants to beat me up and I'm pregnant. Hello? Hello? And then he goes, hello, hello. Hello, I'm here. And that's when it occurred to me that maybe what's happening is that this security guard's lawyer, maybe, just throwing it out there, potentially has never met a black person. I think if you've never met a black person in your life, and your first black person is Cardi B, that's a bit of a crash course. That would be like if I never met a white person in my life. Never met a white person, never talked to a white person, didn't even see one in a movie. Never met a white person. Then my first white person ever was Bill Nye the Science Guy. I think I might be walking away with some incorrect assumptions about white people. I think I go back home and tell all my friends and family, oh yeah, white people, they love space. No, they got a bunch of facts about turtles ready at the hip. Oh, and they love bow ties. Can't stop them from wearing a bow tie. The only time I've seen something like this exact moment, this type of thing, this like misunderstanding in that way, was on a TV show called To Catch a Predator. Okay. I don't know if you remember To Catch a Predator, but in case you never watched it, this was some insane reality TV. Basically, To Catch a Predator, they did just that. They would lure and then trap predators online who thought they were talking to underage kids, right? And they would have all these long conversations with them, and then they try to meet up with them. But when they tried to meet up with them, they would go to like the Sting house, right? And at this house, they would show up thinking they're meeting this underage person. Turns out they're meeting Chris Hansen. If you don't know Chris Hansen, you don't know Dateline. All you need to know about Chris Hansen was he was the To Catch a Predator. Oh, you would hate to see Chris Hansen coming if you were a predator. And so they would lure these predators to this house, and then especially season 1 was like no other thing. Season 1, when people didn't know what was happening, that was some of the wildest television I've ever seen. Because they didn't know who Chris Hansen was, all of them. Some of them did, right? But most of them did not. And so they'd show up to this house thinking that they're going to meet this underage kid, and they might even call out a name or something. Then Chris Hansen would walk in. Chris Hansen walk in holding some papers and everything. Now, because they don't know who Chris Hansen is, they think maybe this is the person's dad or something. So they immediately, they feel caught, but they don't know how caught they are. right? So then Chris Hansen would walk in and be like, "Hi, how's it going?" And then he'd tell them to sit down, and they always sat down. Chris Hansen would sit them down, and then he'd ask them what they were doing here. And they'd try to come up with some sort of lie on the fly or something. And then he would ask them how they know this underage kid, and they'd try to come up with some lie on the fly, something like that. And then Chris Hansen would be like, "Oh, that's interesting because I have the transcripts of your conversation." And no matter what color they were, you watched the color leave their face. And then Chris Hansen would ask them what they meant by certain things in the transcript of the messages and stuff, and these people would just sink. They were just terrified, devastated, right? And then Chris Hansen would be like, "Okay, all right, you've answered all my questions. You can go." And even the predator would be like, "What? Really?" Like, yeah, you can go. You can go. And they'd be like, "Oh, okay. I mean, I thought my life was ruined or something. All right." And then they would get ready to walk out. And when they walked out, they were immediately tackled by the local police department.
And not just tackled, like properly football tackled. This would have been unnecessary roughness in the NFL. This is the only time nobody's gonna take you to task over police brutality. You know what I mean? Because the police, to their credit, they would announce themselves and say, "Get on the ground." They were just saying, "Get on the ground" when they were already airborne. Like, police would be in the air, legs up. "Get on the ground!" It's like, you know your shoulder about to be in his neck. They would tackle him, and they cuff him up, and then they throw him in the car, and they take him to jail. And then in jail, they would go to the interrogation room, and they'd have to answer all of Chris Hansen's questions all over again. I guess him asking was just practice. You know, and there was this one time where this guy comes in, and I don't remember what season it was, but this guy had a very interesting aesthetic. Like he was white, but he had a very like Vanilla Ice vibe to him. You know what I mean? And so he walked in, but when he walked in, he was like. Chris Hansen walked in, and then when Chris Hansen walked in and told him to sit down, he was like, I. And then Chris Hansen does the thing that he does, asks him why he's there, asks him why he's been talking to this underage kid and everything. And then a thing I forgot to mention before that also happened in all the episodes was when Chris Hansen finally announced himself, where he was like, "I'm Chris Hansen with NBC's To Catch a Predator." Cameras would come out from all these different rooms, right? And it was always, without fail, too many cameras. It was always a number of cameras where I'm like, there's no way all those cameras on. There would be people with cameras in the hallway because they couldn't get in the kitchen, just lifting the camera up. Be way too many cameras. And so then the cameras roll in once Chris Hansen announces himself, and then this guy sitting there pulls down his cap a little bit and says to Chris Hansen and all of the cameramen, "I'm not really trying to be on TV, you feel me?" Repeats it. "I'm not really trying to be on TV, you feel me? You feel me? You feel me?" And Chris Hansen, without missing a beat, this man says, "I'm not really trying to be on TV, you feel me?" And Chris Hansen says, "Yes, we are filming." And I haven't seen such a misunderstanding until the security guard's lawyer
says to Cardi B, hello, hello. Yeah, I'm here. That man lucky. That man lucky. Cardi B at no point in her testimony hit him with a like that. That would have broken his brain. That would have ruined his life. He would have bent his knees. Oh! Everybody get out! What's happening? No. Because once again, this dude is wild. This dude is asking her questions about things that have nothing to do with anything. At one point, I think he's really in his head. He's having his like Perry Mason runaway jury moment. Like he's doing something right out of Law and Order in his head because he gets his planted stance. He starts going in on Cardi B and he says, today versus yesterday, all right? Yesterday, you had short black hair. Today, it's long blonde hair. 2 days ago, it was long black hair. Which is it? I don't know why he thought he had her. That was incredible. I don't know what I think he expected Cardi B to be like, I don't know. Oh no. What's happening? I thought he probably had some follow-up questions ready. He's like, if you're changing your hair, how do we know when you're not changing your story? All right? Miss Cardamom Basil. If that is your real name. And Cardi B just laughed it off. She was like, they're wigs. Like, what do you want me to do? And then, he gets into the stuff that's more relevant to the case, and he's trying to grill her back and forth with question after question after question. And he finally gets to this point where he's like, why did you feel threatened? She says the pregnancy thing and everything. But he's like, you said yourself that my client is about your height. Why would you be intimidated by her? And then Cardi B goes, yeah, I mean, she's a little bit taller than me, but she's bigger than me and everything. And I don't know what she wants to do. Now it seems like this person wants to beat me up. I don't know. Like, I don't know if they went from wanting a picture to beat me up or just wanted to beat me up and record. I don't know what's happening, right? And so then this guy goes, why are you so intimidated by it? You're saying that she's bigger than you. What makes you say that? And then Cardi B goes, like, do I have to say it? No. And then he's like, are you calling my client fat? Are you calling my client fat? All right? Did you call her fat that day? In fact, you called her fat that day, didn't you? And then Cardi B is like, no, I was only calling her the B word. Like, it was really just that. I didn't really have time for anything else, Sort of said that over and over again. Didn't really get to work in any other details. And this lawyer, I don't know, like even it's like now what we're getting into is stuff that I guess isn't nice, but I don't know how it helps his case, because then he just keeps egging it on. He's like, but you said that and you said other things, didn't you? You said other things. And then Cardi B, to her credit, it starts admitting everything that she said, right? She starts just repeating verbatim in court. She just cursing in court openly, just nonstop cursing in court, right? And he's like, is that what you said? Say exactly what you said. I mean, she's right here, right now. Say it again. Say it to her face. Say it again. And then even Cardi B is like, what is happening? Like, you want me to curse her out again? Like, is this one like a freebie or something? Like, I can't tell what's happening. No, he's like, no, you were so threatened. You were so completely threatened by my client. You know, what makes you so threatened? And then she's like, well, at the time I was pregnant and I was 130 pounds. All right. And then she was like twice my size. You know what I mean? And then once again, he gets on the same thing. He's like, are you calling my client fat? And she's like, no, I'm not saying. She just, you know. No, what? I don't know. What are you trying to say? Say it. Say what you want to say. There's no harm here. Say it. She's security heavy. That's so much worse. And this man keeps going. He's like, what do you mean security heavy? What are you trying to say? She's security heavy. What does that even mean? And Cardi B is like, you know, she built like she protect buildings. If it were me and I was Cardi B, I'd probably be sitting there furious. Cardi B better than me, you know? I'd probably be sitting there so angry. I'm just trying to live my life. I was trying to go to the doctor privately. My business is always out there. People get paid to get up in my business and everything. And I'm just trying to have a quiet moment. I'm not feeling well. I believe was her first child and everything. No one knows that she's pregnant. And then this whole thing blows up and then she gets sued for $24 million. You know, she's better than me. I'd be sitting there furious at that lawyer. Huh? And if I was a security guard sitting there watching this happen, I'd be furious at that lawyer. What are you doing? You just getting me roasted in open court. This doesn't feel like it's getting me any closer to $24 million. Oh. Because I'm not going to sit here and act like I'm better than anybody, okay? If times get tough, if things get rough for me, I run into George Clooney. It's just me and George Clooney in the hallway. I know I haven't been able to pay my rent or anything. Is his word against mine? I'm gonna see George Clooney. I'm gonna put my hand on the ground. I'm just gonna. Look at what George Clooney did to me. Why would Ocean's 11's George Clooney do this? I thought he was a good man. I can't believe that Ocean 12's own George Clooney would step on my hand like this. What's that you say? He still owns the tequila company? Oh. Oh no. Who would have thought Ocean's 13 George Clooney would be capable of something like this? I thought he'd be president one day. Nah, easily. It doesn't have to be George Clooney. I don't even need like A-list. I really don't. If I see Neil deGrasse Tyson times are tough, I run into Neil deGrasse Tyson. I'm throwing a bowling ball straight for the air and catching it with my head. I was like, oh no! I can't believe Neil deGrasse Tyson did one of Newton's laws of motion to me. I think it was the first one. No. Doesn't have any popular person will do, you know? If I see William H. Macy, I'm gonna run into a wall like that dude from the show Fargo. I'm gonna run right into. If I ever meet William H. Macy, he better pray we outside. Because if she's trying to get money out of Cardi B, you know, this is not the way. She over here admitting that she only got nicked. Just a little. That quick. That. And she said that she had to have 2 plastic surgeries. Even brought the plastic surgeon to court. And the plastic surgeon came into court with a picture, right? Now, the plastic surgeon, this is also why I feel like this case is bogus, because she doesn't have a picture of the scratch from the day that it happened. Her plastic surgeon had to come in and do a before and after picture. And honestly, I don't know if that dude a plastic surgeon. I don't see what he did. Like, it's... Even when they tried to show the cut, like the little scar that Cardi B supposedly gave her, maybe they didn't zoom in enough. Like, I don't know but they had the little line pointing straight to it, and I'm squinting. It doesn't even look like Cardi B did $24 of damage. Oh, you try and get money out of Cardi B, this is not the way to do it. All you gotta do is make sure y'all are still alone. The other problem, and the reason this whole case feels fishy, is because her lawyers, and I suppose even her, didn't want the receptionist or the doctor that broke them up testifying. That seems suspicious. If I got $24 million worth of damage done to me, I'd call everybody who was within earshot. You know what I mean? Oh, you heard me. You remember? I was like, oh no, $24 million just fell out of my face, right? So the fact that her lawyers didn't want those people testifying seems fishy. And then you kind of understand why. I don't know if she was a fully surprise witness or anything, but I know they were trying to block it for a long time. And so the receptionist finally sits down on the stand and testifies, right? And the security guard's lawyer is over here asking just all the relevant questions, right? And some of the questions are getting objected to and then sustained because they're a little leading. You know what I mean? Like he asked a question about how wasn't it my client's job to see fit who should and should not be in the building? And then obviously Cardi B's lawyers objected, because how is the receptionist for one office building in this entire building supposed to know all the ins and outs of the security guard's job, right? And they get to this moment where the receptionist comes out because she says that she heard a commotion, and she gets out there and Cardi B is up against a wall like this, like back up against the wall, and security guard is yelling in her face, right? And so then she, immediately upset by what she's seeing, gets in between the two of them and is breaking it up and tells the security guard, I don't know what's going on here, but you need to go back to your post. This is very unprofessional, everything. And everybody's screaming just so everybody can be heard, right? And the lawyer gets excited. He's like, and so do you think that this could be the moment that Cardi B scratched my client's face? And then the receptionist goes, actually, I'm really the only one that got hit out of the both of them. Like, I was... You know, you try to be a good Samaritan, but... And not only does she say that she's like the only one that got hit between them, but she got a scratch on her face, a scratch that bled, and a scratch on her face that bled that came from the security guard. You could tell the lawyer's out here panicking. He's... Whoops. Okay. All right. And so then he starts, in my opinion at least, sort of like badgering her a little bit with questions to try to like double back from the fact that now it looks like the only person that may have assaulted someone is his client. And so he then says, he's like, yes, but you also weren't there the entire time, so you didn't witness the entire altercation. Maybe Cardi B spit on my client before you got there. Maybe she scratched her face before you got there, but you got there and you broke it up and you say that you didn't see anything. But maybe something happened before you got there. You don't know. You don't know. And then the receptionist was like, yeah, I guess I didn't know what it was like to be there till I was there. Yes, I suppose. You got me there. Because it's not just the scratch, I should point out. The scratch is the main thing, but the security guard is also, to my knowledge at least, alleging that Cardi B got her fired as well. You know? And then they had the doctor testify. And I won't say that the security guard's lawyers tried to poison the jury, because they were pushing a narrative the entire time. And the narrative was that obviously the receptionist and the doctor would back Cardi B because she was a client of theirs, a patient. So it benefits them to back up her story, right? And they even say as much while the two people are on the stand, you know? But then the receptionist says, no, actually, the security guard hit me up and said we should sue Cardi B. And I was like, nah, because you started it. Which is also not great for a security guard's lawyer. He's over here, okay, well, look, nothing further. And then they had the doctor testify. Now, the doctor was the last to sing, so by the time he comes out, the receptionist is getting in between Cardi B and the security guard. So he said he was also very upset about what was happening, you know, and he was trying to make sure this thing got broken up. Now, the doctor said, look, what I saw wasn't just unprofessional, it was very concerning to me. And I got out there, and the only thing I could think to do was try to match the body language of the security guards. I don't even know what that means, but I imagine it means he ran up out there, he saw three people arguing, and he was like, hey! Cut that out! Because by his own account, it's not like he the one pulling people from people or anything. Reception has already broken it up and taken some punishment, and so... And then took Cardi B in, they had their appointment and everything, and then he was so disturbed by what happened and what he saw that he reached out to Superior for the security guard, and, you know, said that soon after that she was taken downstairs during a shift and like let go, right? And that also doesn't look great for her case, because she alleges that Cardi B got her fired, and now this dude in open court was like, no, it was me. It was me. It was me 100%. And I guess I'm just coming from a place of like, if you really wanted to sue Cardi B for $24 million, you don't wait until there's other people involved that are all going to have different accounts of what happened. If you wanted to sue Cardi B for $24 million, you just walk up to Cardi B before she gets in the elevator. Say, hey, Cardi B, how you doing? And then throw yourself down some stairs. That's gonna be the easiest way to do it, you know? Throw yourself down some stairs, all the while screaming out Cardi B singles for every step that you hit. You finally hit that last step, you're like, oh, why would top charting artist Cardi B do this? Oh, she's really about that life. These are bloody shoes.
Welcome to the Josh Johnson Show. I'm Josh Johnson, great start.
Yeah.
Welcome to
New
the
year,
Josh
new
Johnson
us.
Show. Welcome to the Josh Johnson Show. I'm joined by my. Welcome to the Josh Johnson Show. I'm Josh Johnson, joined by my co-host, fellow stand-up comedian Logan Nielsen. Logan, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing well, man. How are you?
I'm good. This is the first one of the year, the first official new one of the year.
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
back. We're back,
did
and we're doing the regular show again.
We've been to Denver. We've been to Tacoma.
Tacoma. Yeah, we. I mean, I don't know how much we want to get into it, but like we also it took a little bit for us to get back in the swing of things because the end of 2022 was weird for us. I had the COVID pretty bad, and
Yeah.
and so that was some episodes fell behind because turns out I couldn't sit up for like more than 10 minutes at a time, and when you have to do hours of editing, that's a hard thing to do.
It is like you got the one that like really be out here stomping people in the chest. Like that's actually feels like a rare one to get than the ones that in New York, a lot of the people who get it will have it like bad for a day and then they're like, oh, I'm pretty sluggish, but I think I'm all right. And man, you had it like properly bad.
Well, but I didn't get any of the like respiratory stuff or anything. I mean, that might be because I'm vaxxed and all that too. But it's like I had the first really, really bad day. It was that Wednesday like after Christmas. That day was bad, and like I had like fever and like the best way I could describe it to is my limbs all felt like they weighed 100 pounds. Like I just like felt like held down on the bed. And then the next day, that Thursday, felt pretty good. And I was like, okay, just had the one bad day. I'll come out of it. I should be good then by, the weekend to whatever. And then that Friday, nope, back knocked down again.
Jeez.
That was the weird one. That was the weird thing that it like got better and then got worse and then got better. And now I just have these kind of little mild cold symptoms that are hanging on.
I mean, I'm glad you're okay now.
Thanks, man. Thanks.
Yeah.
Doing okay. Living. Gonna do it. It can only get better from here.
Yeah.
I'm assuming.
I'd like to think so.
I mean, fuck, if not though.
That would be wild if COVID was the start.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's either the start of just only an uphill, like everything's gonna get better, or like that's the sampler. That's setting the tone.
Yeah.
For the year.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Do you? I'm trying to figure out how to. I mean, I'll just ask it straight out. Is there a lot of like meth in your general tri-state area? Would you say meth is the predominant drug?
Yeah. How do I put this politely? We love meth here.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Good to know.
I don't know how bad it still is. I know Jess says one of the new problems is heroin. We're finally joining the 80s here, I think. But
yeah, the meth thing. Okay, so the whole
this
reason,
is now just real quick. I'm going to ask you a counter question. This is how we're starting the year, is talking about meth. This is what we're gonna.
I feel like when I'm done telling you the story, I feel like you'll appreciate that we started with meth.
Okay.
I'm trying to put this in the best possible. Okay. So meth, as we've talked about on the podcast before, is pretty popular in my hometown. So it being popular where you are as well, I think you'll be able to relate. Okay. There was a time where my buddy was, just out there trying to find someone. You know what I mean? He was like kind of on the apps, but he was mostly going to bars. But it was just, it was a tough go of it, let's say. And I'm sure.
So he was the way you made it sound like he was out there trying to find someone specific, but he's just trying to find anyone.
He's trying to find anyone, any person that will work.
I thought maybe he was out searching for someone that he needed to track down, but he's trying to find someone.
Wouldn't that be wild if someone used the actual dating apps to like hunt down their enemy?
See, and I didn't mean dating app. I thought you meant just he was literally out just trying to find like a friend or something.
That's my bad because I thought I said dating app, but maybe I never
not initially.
did.
No, you just said he was just out there trying to find someone.
Oh, okay.
And that's why I'm like that sentence could mean a variety of things.
So much.
Yeah.
Okay, so basically, he's on like the obscure ones as well. Like, did you ever do Plenty of Fish back in the day?
I think I might have tried it briefly. I think so. Yeah.
Plenty of Fish and OK Cupid were where, at least in the early 2000s, apparently, were where the freaks were.
OK Cupid's the one I did. I didn't do Plenty of Fish, but I did do OK Cupid. I did do OK Cupid.
So Plenty of Fish brought out a Craigslist level of honesty in people that the other dating apps just don't.
Yeah.
Because I think it's because on Tinder, Bumble, Hinge, all that stuff like that, you have to truly choose whether or not you're going to be yourself or you're going to be a catfish, because you can only lie so much before you're like fully lying, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Whereas with like back in the day with Craigslist, it was just like, hey, this is me. All right.
Meet me at this corner.
Inquire, inquire within, but this is exactly what I need. This is exactly what I'm expecting, And so basically, he was
also, if you have a truck, you can take this dresser.
Yeah. Make sure you take the bed when you leave.
Yeah. I want to use it one last time and then get rid of it.
Yeah. And so he was on Plenty of Fish, I believe. And he started talking to this person. And it was like, I don't even know how to describe their rapport, because the way that he described them chatting at first was almost just, it felt natural, but it seemed to have felt natural in a boring way. You ever have someone tell you something that they think is really special and you're like, that's not that great? Like in your head, you don't say it to them, but like, but they just hit it off with a bunch of heys and how you doings and all the stuff like that. And but the way he described it was like, she was so easy to talk to. But I'm like, but you're saying all you said was, what's up?
Yeah.
So it's like, I get how two things could be true. It could be she's very easy to talk to, and you're not saying much,
Right, yeah.
You're not really pouring your heart out.
And maybe that's what the ease is. Maybe she just said, what's up back? And he's just like, ooh, soulmates.
Yeah, yeah. She even used 2 question marks, just like me. And so basically they start chatting and they set up a date, like time to meet. And she's like, oh, hey, do you smoke? Right? And he's like, oh, yeah, from time to time, and so they meet up, and the date is very okay. From what he's describing, like, I guess my man just doesn't need much, because even as he's describing the date, I'm like, so y'all just went to Chili's, but y'all were having the time of your lives? Like, I'm happy for him that he's happy.
I mean, have you ever had those Southwest egg rolls? They're great.
I've had them, and I don't know if it was worth a life change. Like he was like he was so disappointed because he was like, I was having the time of my life. Like this man said the time of his life, and I was just like, bro, you gotta get out there more. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not even trashing Chili's. I'm literally just saying, if you have the time of your life with someone who doesn't really seem to say much,
You just wanted to be out.
I think you just wanted to be out. I think
that just means you were happy to not be in your apartment.
I
is
think
what
you
that
just
sounds
needed
like.
some companionship, because you're beefing this up like it was the Titanic and it was a Thursday at Chili's.
Yeah, you could have been like, man, we could have gone to Chili's, and you would have had the time of your life. If
I
that's
think
what's
so. I think because this man said the time of
Dude
his
just
life.
wanted to go to Chili's.
Yes, the time of his life. Okay, so
Because even on a first date, the time of your life. I mean, even if it's like wow, I think I'm in love with this person already.
mm-hmm.
I still don't know if it'd be like time of your life. I don't know. You know what I mean?
Dude,
you know?
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I'm saying. I feel like even if all the stars aligned,
Yeah.
looking back, maybe you can romanticize it, but in the moment, to be like, I'm having the time of my life just picking out apps with this person.
Yeah. Well, because in any first date I've ever thought of, like, even if it's fun, there's still a sense of like nerves to it. That's not the time of your life. Like,
Exactly.
and like, listen, I'm thinking back to my first date with Jess. Honestly, top to bottom, great date. But also, I've done some cool shit.
Yeah, yeah.
Time of my life? Of my life.
To be fair, it's in my hometown, so it's not like
Fair.
it's not like there's a ton going on, right?
I mean, Chili's is the place to be. It
Yeah.
sounds like.
And so then she looks at him and she's like, "Hey, do you want to smoke?" And he was like,
Gee, where will this lead?
Oh, here? And she was like, yeah, you want to go smoke in the bathroom real quick? And he was like,
Oh, in the bathroom?
in the bathroom. And he was like, oh, okay, I guess, like, a little adventurous. Okay, she's a little naughty. She's a little naughty, right?
Oh, no.
And so then they go to the bathroom. It's so funny too, because she was like, okay, you sneak off to the bathroom and then I'll like come join you, right? Like I'll just give it a beat and then I'll come join you. Don't want to bring the suspicion on them immediately, right?
Right.
He said that when he went to the bathroom, he turned around and she was behind him. Like, it was like she didn't wait at all. And so then they're in the stall together and she pulls out, a full pipe, right? And he noticed that the pipe was a little too dirty.
Little dirty.
Yeah. And so then he's like, oh, what? I think he was scared to ask if she smoked meth because it feels like such an accusation. So then he just sort
Yeah,
of.
because if she doesn't, there's no coming back from that question.
Yes.
There's no, then you can't backpedal.
Dude, the
How do
stakes.
you smoke meth?
The stakes of like you've pulled out a pipe. All right, you smoke weed in a pipe. You've pulled out a pipe. The pipe just looks a little like rotten. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know what the difference in pipe should look like, but he was saying it looked a little too dirty, right?
Yeah.
And then before the meth can come out, he wants to be like, hey, do you smoke meth? But he's like, I really didn't want to ask because it would just kill everything. It would kill.
It would
the whole
ruin the
vibe.
time of his life.
Because if she doesn't smoke meth, to your point, there's no coming back.
No.
Because
No,
now
you can't.
Now you sound like you smoke meth. You sound like you were excited it was about to be meth. Do you know what I mean? Like if someone pulls out a pipe, even at a party, if someone pulls out a one hitter and you're like, oh, do you smoke meth? You sound like you want the meth. That is what that sounds like if they don't smoke meth.
Ooh, is that meth?
And if you do smoke meth, now, once again, you've already called it. He's ruined the time of his life because now meth is about to come out. And so sure enough, meth comes out. Before he can like even fully ask, she was like, this is a big one.
This is a big one.
Because I guess she was trying to do something special for the day.
She also wants to have the time of her life.
Yes.
But she needs a little hit of something to really get there.
I think she needs a touch of help from Mr. Methy Meth. She needs a little bit of help from Nathaniel Amphetamine. Steen. And so she pops out. She goes ahead and pops out Nathaniel, and she's like, "It's a big one."
It's a big one. It's such a.
And then he goes, "Oh, okay." And he was like, as she's about to like get it started, he's like, "Hey, I'm not really comfortable. I don't really do that. Like we can go back and eat or anything." And she was like, "Oh, okay." And she seemed a little disappointed and like maybe even a little embarrassed. Who knows? Because I imagine, you know, obviously, do you smoke? There's a lot to fill in there. You know what I mean? Yeah. And so you know, cigarettes. I mean, and so basically they stop in the moment. She's like, "Oh, okay, all right. Well, sorry that I," and he's like, "Oh, don't apologize. It's okay." Like he's really trying to save this date. So he's like,
I would, but I'm full.
No, don't. It's all good. It's all good. It happens. You know, this is perfectly normal. So anyway, he then gets out of the stall because he was always with his back to the door. So then he opens the door and then he said he opened the door, was walking out, thought that she was right behind him, but when he turned around, not only had she let the door close again, there was a puff of smoke coming through the. And he was like, "I've never smoked meth, but I didn't know you could do it that fast. Like I didn't know." He's like, by the time I turned around, still in the bathroom, by the time I turned around, it was cloudy.
Yeah.
And so then he's walking out and she's walking out behind me. He's like, "Oh no. Like now this is a meth date because you did it."
A meth date.
Like you hit it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so then they go.
Because that's now a different person coming out.
Exactly. So now they go and sit back down. And I don't know the specifics. I don't know how long it takes meth to meth you. Okay?
To meth with you.
Sure.
that you're gonna roll your eyes at.
Amphetamine was wild. Meth with you felt like, all right, okay. I see what you're trying to turn me into. And so
you said Nathaniel first, so I don't want to.
So they sit down.
I don't want to hear it.
And they go ahead and order. And she ordered a little more than they talked about because you know when you sit down with somebody and you're like, "Oh, what do you think you'll get?" And they're like, "Oh, I might get this and this or whatever." Like she went ahead and ordered like a couple things. And he's like, I don't even know if it was stream of consciousness or if she was actually ordering. Like I don't know if she was just saying names of foods they had or if she was actually ordering. But either way, the server wrote down like 5 things, you know?
Yeah.
And so they're talking, and even as they're talking, she's like clearly different. Just eyes are a little wider. And he was like trying to keep the date like normal because he really seemed to like her, I guess, or wanted to hold on to whatever infatuation he built up around her, and just was trying to talk. And the whole time she's nodding, eyes wide, like, like nodding hard at everything he's saying, and has grabbed a napkin and started cleaning the edge of the table. Like off to the side, so she just whacks it on and whacks it off.
And while he's telling a story, she's like, yeah, saying 1,000 yeahs.
Oh man. And then the food comes, so they're just, I guess she's just like that,
and
for
she
a little
screams.
The food comes and she actually says, "Is this ours?" Right? She's like, "Is this?"
Oh, it's so funny.
Is this ours?
Is this?
And he's like, "Yeah, it's what we ordered." And she's like, "I ordered all this?" Like, and he was like, "Yeah." And the server's still standing there. And he's like, "Yeah." She was like, "I don't think I'd do that."
Oh.
And then him and the server just sort of look at each other. And then look at her. And are both kind of like, yeah, but you did though.
You did.
Like you said nachos, chili cheeseburger. Like you were just saying all the words. Maybe you didn't mean them.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you literally only meant the first thing you said, and
Just
you kept
reading out
talking
loud.
at the same volume.
Yeah.
And so we all thought that's what you ordered. Once again, two things can be true at the same time. But yeah, this is all yours. And she was like, "Oh, okay. I guess I'll try."
I guess I'll try.
And then like didn't really like obviously didn't eat everything that she ordered, but was like picking at everything perfectly. Was just like a bite of this, drop a bite of this, and then still like nodding at everything at him. As
I like to imagine she's actually picking at it like a bird. I don't know why. That's just just hitting her face on everything a little bit.
And so then they're basically just sitting there. He's finished his food. She still has half the table to eat. And a very, very clean corner of the table.
Rubbing the varnish off on that one.
And so he's like, "Oh, so do you think you're done? Like, should I get the check and everything?" And she was like, yeah, I think I think I'm done. Right? Just lots of yes, just like you said. Right?
Yeah. How much copper do you think is in this place?
But my favorite detail, my favorite part is that at the end he's like, "Oh, okay, so," and he's given up now. Like he really does know that this is over. There's no salvaging this,
Oh, what? He didn't want a second date with the lady who did the meth in the Chili's bathroom?
That tried to do it in the bathroom with him, and then when he declined was like,
What?
"I'm not gonna waste it."
Yeah. I can't believe he's not going to give her another chance, and he's pulling the ripcord on this.
And so at the end, he's like, "So you want me to give you a ride home or anything?" She looked him dead in his face. Was like, No, I think I'll run."
I was just going to say, because she said no, and then turned around and sprinted down the road. But literally, no, I'm going to run.
And so they walked
Wow.
out together. He went to his truck. And then she was like, "Okay, this was fun. Bye." And then just like took off. And he was like, I was really worried because she wasn't running back in the direction that I picked her up.
Oh.
Yeah, she was just going for a run, I think.
She had to run by the meth store. Get some more.
She had to run back to her dealer and be like, "Can you believe it? Can you believe that he would say that he smoked and then he wouldn't smoke with me? And then when I smoked, he got all weird and then he tried to make me eat a bunch of food. And so I just left." Like, I could easily see that being her version of the story.
Oh, for sure. For sure. Now, what would you do? And let's put yourself in his shoes. It doesn't have to necessarily be Chili's, but like you are having the time of your life. This date is going so well. You are just like, wow, she's amazing. You're smitten.
Yeah.
And then she busts out some meth. What does a Josh Johnson do in this scenario?
So I'm very worried that I wouldn't recognize it immediately. I think I'm worried because he smokes enough that he just knew that the differences in pipes and the difference. You know what I mean?
But you'd know once a rock comes into play that you.
I think I'd have a hard time, and I know this shouldn't matter, but I do think I'd have a hard time distinguishing the meth from crack. All right.
But does that matter?
It does kind of matter. It does change the game a little bit for me.
So if it was crack, you'd stay on the date.
I'm not saying I'd stay, but I think I'd be less concerned because I feel like...
Really?
I feel like crack and meth are on very different levels.
I mean, they are in ways, but I think they're both on the leave this date level.
Yeah. I'm not saying I wouldn't leave.
Okay.
I'm just saying I would be less concerned.
Okay, so let's explore both options then.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, a rock comes into play.
Mm-hmm.
She looks at you and goes, "This is meth."
Mm-hmm.
Now, what is your reaction?
I think I pop that lock on the stall. I walk out, and I think I announce to the kitchen floor, someone is smoking meth in the bathroom.
Oh, you'd narc on her.
And then I walk out. Just because narking on her will slow her down long enough for me to get out.
Oh, because she's probably going to come after you.
She gonna be fast. She gonna be strong.
Okay. Wow. Okay. So
Yeah.
really ending the date.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now instead, the rock comes into play, and she goes, "Would you also like some crack?" Now, how do you handle this?
I pop the lock on the stall.
Okay.
I back out of the bathroom, and then I walk up to my server and say, "Can you please cancel my order?
Okay.
I'm terribly ill." And then I leave.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So no narking on the crack.
I don't know if you need to.
Elaborate.
I just feel like I feel like crack gives people endurance, whereas meth gives people strength.
Okay.
And I feel like I'm more scared when someone. So here's the thing. In Louisiana and in Chicago, I've been like pressed by a clear crackhead before.
Oh, for sure.
And the way that you get pressed by a crackhead is just like, all right, if this person can beat me at all, it's gonna be because they outlast me, right?
Okay.
So I'm all I need to do now is make sure that all of my hooks are tight, all of my guard is up. You know, that I have my footwork at play. I'm able to get away from them, right? With meth, because methamphetamine is actually so broad, right?
True.
I don't know what exactly they're on. Is there a little angel dust in there? Can they feel their fingernails? Or do they just not have any recollection of having like ligaments so they're going to be able to lift a car? Like there's a level of like fight that if somebody that wants to get at you and they're on meth has, you're not getting away. They're getting to you.
Yeah. Yeah, meth makes you go a little Super Saiyan.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And so that's my thing now that I honestly have where I'm like, all right, this thing is a clear and present danger if they turn on me. This other thing is only a danger if they really know what they're doing, but they're probably going to be sloppy about it. So I'm not in that much trouble.
So now, have you had to fight someone in Chicago who was on crack?
I just had to push them away, but I didn't have to. We weren't fighting.